And mess me around, and then worst of all, you never call baby when you say you will. But I love you still, I need you more than anyone, darling. You know that I have from the start. So build me up, burn it up, don't break my heart. I'll be over at 10, you told me time and again, but you're late. I waited around and then I run to the door. I can't take anymore. It's not you. You let me down again. Baby, baby, try to find a little time and I'll make you happy. I'll be home. I'll be beside the phone waiting for you.
Hello and welcome to a very special edition, of course, of the Brew Crew Review. I'm Craig, once again, your producer and host. And again, let's introduce today's panel. We got our regulars today. Next to me is Vince Travato. And then over here to my right, we've got Mr. Chad Collins. And to my far right, Mr. Scott Bartell. So welcome to the show here, fellas.
Let's go.
And
see you, Craig.
As you can see, we're partaking in one of the Miller Park traditions, and that's, of course, a little bit of tailgating. Everyone is familiar with Milwaukee, knows all about that. So we're out here. We got the grill fired up. We got some steaks, some brats.
Hold on. Let's show them what we have over here on the grill. This is the handiwork of yours truly, Mr. Scott Bartell.
What we got in there?
Looks like steak, Scotty.
Bunch of steaks, yeah.
If I could show everyone my piece of meat here too.
That's looking nice.
Nice piece of meat there, Chad.
Thank you.
Well, anyway, we're here though to talk about the Brewers as we tailgate. And actually, let's recap. We happen to be tailgating right after the Brewers have defeated Roy Oswald and the Houston Astros here in the middle of September, September 11th actually, and we're doing another kind of a new tradition. Everyone knows about tailgating prior to games before you go in or whatever, but also we've noticed fans also partaking in something new, and that's post-game tailgating. You know, you still got some cold beverages in the car on ice. You still have some steaks in there.
In a sealed container, though.
In a sealed container.
Sealed container.
And,
factory sealed container.
And anyway, so why go home? I mean, you've got more food to be eaten or whatever, so we're partaking in that tradition here on our special edition of the Brew Crew Review as we've got our tailgating set here. And we're losing a little bit of light, as you'll notice probably throughout the show, but hopefully we can get through this and before we get kicked out of the lot here at Miller Park. So anyway, so let's jump right in. Let's talk about the Brewers, guys. First of all, let's ask you guys over there, what's your take on how the Brewers are doing? Again, we've been just hovering right under that 500 mark. A few weeks left to go here in the season. We've talked the last episode about the big Sheets injury. We're filling in with patchwork 4th and 5th starters to wind down the series, getting all of our young guys some at-bats. What's your take on it? Are we going to be able to do this, or are we going to be able to finish at 500 or better?
Well, I mean, it's pretty exciting how we've taken care of the big guns in the National League, like Clemens and Oswalt, and we even got to Pettit, but unfortunately Oka didn't hold up his own on that one. You got to figure we beat A.J. Burnett, we beat PV. Well, PV didn't give up any runs, but we won the game against them. We beat Josh Beckett twice. Yep. We beat Oswalt. Now we beat Clemens twice. But just that the pitchers that aren't so good, we struggle against, and that's a little frustrating. It's
like Jeff Supan
and Brian Lawrence.
Brian Lawrence. Yeah, guys like that.
But I don't know. I think it's just exciting how what happened last year. Obviously, we were one of the hotter teams going to the All-Star break, and then we faded. But this year, we just don't fade. I don't know why. I think it's pretty exciting. I think it shows the good character of the team. Young guys are playing and contributing. I know Vince's favorite brewer right now, J.J. Hardy, is on a major tear since the All-Star break. So I think it is all coming together as the slogan of 2002 was. I don't even know.
Wow.
But it is all coming together.
I
think next year will be a good year for the Brewers. Yeah.
Well, I really think this year, the big thing that we were saying is once Ben went down, we needed to score some more runs. That was the big thing. And, the offense has come around a little bit. I mean, people are hitting, not so much of the clutch, but they're really hitting the ball. It's working out really well. Rookies are really stepping up. It's really amazing if you look at the rookies and how far, how many rookies this year for the Brewers have hit off of aces. I mean, this year it's pretty phenomenal. But yeah, it's the never say die attitude of the Brewers. You gotta love it. And I guess you know what? I guess you should say if Clemens has a daddy, it would be the Milwaukee Brewers.
Beating Clemens twice with the only team in the major leagues to do that. So
That's excellent.
on a couple other topics, Vince, you have something to add to that? Or?
Well, no, I just love the fact that we're beating these big guns. We're coming out, we're playing strong, and I think that we get pumped up for these games. I'd like to see some more fans, though, at Miller Park. I was a bit disappointed in our attendance this past weekend against Houston. I mean, seriously, guys, Packer season can wait. It's just a couple weeks down the road. There won't be any conflicting seasons going on, so it's all you.
After what happened today to the Packers.
Especially after what happened today. Let's stick with the Brewers for a little while longer. The past decade, Brewers fans have been clamoring for, let's just see a team that's going to win. Well, this team's about here, and I'd like to see some fans come out and support the effort. So, Wisconsin, let's go. Let's step it up and root for the Brewers these next couple of weeks, and let's see a nice run here, a nice push the last couple of weeks of September.
Yeah.
Indeed, as well. So let's throw another topic out here. We got a couple of weeks left in the season. We've got Chris Capion, our starting pitcher, has got 16 wins already and counting here on the season going into the last few weeks. He should get a chance to get at least 4 more starts, possibly 5, depending on what we do with our rotation. Do you think he's got a legitimate shot to finish near 20 wins? And the last Brewer to do that was, of course, Teddy Higuera back in the mid-'80s. So do you think that's a possibility? And I think one of the only reasons, in my opinion, that he's got a chance is if Yost goes to a 4-man rotation instead of 5. What's your guys' take? Should we stick with the 5 here as we wind down the season? A 5-man rotation, go to 4, and if it is, who are your choices for the 4 and 5 spots, or just 4 for that matter?
I'm kind of conflicted about that issue because I don't know. I kind of want to see guys get a shot. Even though De La Rosa has been pretty miserable, I kind of still want to see him get a spot start every now and then. We look to be out of the wild card race, but it will be cool for Capuano to get a chance at 20 wins or 19 wins or whatever. But, I mean, look at the guys that we have given spot starts to that have excelled. Rick Helling has been amazing. He won against Oswald today. His ERA is just a little bit over 2.5. So I don't know. I guess you could go with the 4-man rotation, but then they have the whole winter to recoup. So I guess my answer is I don't know.
Any thoughts, guys?
Stick with what's working right now. I mean, we have a situation where, like you said, time is going to be a bit of an issue or a plus, whichever way you look at it. We're not going to necessarily get the opportunity to start a guy at the 5 spot that we would like to see so much that we're going to be able to give him all these opportunities to show us what he can do. I think it's going to be one of those things where Yost is going to say, you know what, we're still talking about winning this year. We want to finish above 500. We're not eliminated yet from the wild card race, however distinct the possibility might be. So let's actually keep trying to win games. Let's keep plugging the rotation with guys that we know have been there and done that before, like a veteran like Rick Helling, who came in and has done a great job so far. I know that not everybody likes him, but he's got an ERA that's not only sub-3, but sub-2.5 at this point, and he actually improved upon that today. I didn't see the statistics after today's game, seeing as how we're just done with the game and out tailgating right now, but yeah. I know that he improved his ERA again with the performance today, and so why not stick with that if it's working right now?
Well, I agree with that, Vince, definitely. And Scotty, by the way, is my burger done that there? I think it needs another turn at least.
Yeah, we're working on it.
Maybe we'll have that ready to go by the next segment.
Scotty, haven't you learned anything from Bill's Grill? I mean, come on now.
I wouldn't be learning much from Bill's Grill over there, Chad.
But anyway, I like your thoughts on those 4 and 5 starters, but let's find out what Ned Yost thinks. We got a little clip of him being asked that same question. Let's see what his plans are pretty much for the rest of the season. So let's go with that clip right now. Is there any plans for the rest of the season to go with the 4-man rotation?
No.
Or are you going with 5?
Sticking with the 5.
Okay. All right. There you saw Yost saying that we're going to stick with the old 5-man rotation, which I assume is Rick Helling, who's doing a fine job, and of course Wes Obermiller, who's got a hot hand. He's been shutting guys down.
Oh.
In fact, he came in relief because we had an off day recently, and he threw 4 shutout innings, so that really kept us in a game against the Astros. But anyway, let's move on to another topic real quick here, and that's, finally the minor league season just about over in Nashville. Let's actually congratulate, I know that Chad, Vince, and myself, Scott couldn't make it because we didn't seem to find you that weekend, but we went on down
the
to
whole state line issue.
The warden found him,
the state line
unfortunately.
issue.
Yeah.
Scotty.
Sky's pro officer
free
wouldn't
now.
let him away, but anyway, maybe next year. But anyway, we took that trip down to Nashville and interviewed some of the sounds at the time. That's when Prince Fielder was down there, Corey Hart, Nelson Cruz, Krenzel and much of the other Sounds players. Now, since that time, the Brewers have called up a lot of those players to kind of increase their depth and fill in for injured players. And in the meantime, Nashville hung on and they made the playoffs. And as we speak, they're battling in the playoffs. So hopefully they come out and win a championship. The Pacific Coast League championship they maybe can have in their sights. So congratulations to them. But getting back to some of the players that we did call up, as I mentioned, Prince Fielder to back up Lyle Overbay. Again, he's possibly our first baseman or future. And then a guy like Corey Hart who can play any of the outfield positions. And I guess we're gonna try to teach him at a lot of the Patriots are finally leaving here at Miller Park. In fact, let me just throw out there. I saw a man tailgating on his bike and struggling to. I'm hoping he's gonna make it okay. You know.
It was strapping
It was a non-motored vehicle. He had the remnants of his cooler. He was trying to strap
strapped to the front of a bicycle
with his shirt, might I add, and he was struggling. But we were all pulling for the guy here on the set as we watched him pull away. But
I think he needs a new strap on.
But anyway, I think he got the job done.
Yeah,
I think he made it safe at home. So kudos to that. But
cyclists have rights too.
Yeah, if you want to tailgate on your bicycle, feel free to do that. So. What is your guys' take on, should we get these guys more regular starts as we head into the last few weeks of the season, or do you think guys like Overbay and Jenkins and Brady Clark have earned that right to start, try to get us to that 500 level?
Well, I think as far as Prince Fielder is concerned, I think he should be starting.
That's what happens.
Back to your point, I'm distracted now.
We keep getting distracted by people on bikes, and people bringing us root beers,
lovely
and what have you.
females.
But anyway,
additionally, can I just throw this out here now? Yeah. If any of you lovely ladies around Wisconsin would like to join us for a tailgate party, and I'm sure that my co-hosts here would fully agree and support me in this, I would like to cordially invite you to attend our next studio taping session. It's going to be a week from next Sunday, so we've got 2 weeks to go. And
Sunday the 25th.
Sunday the 25th. That sounds about right. So if you'd like to come out and enjoy a root beer with us, here on the set of either the Miller Park tailgate lot or the Brew Crew Review studio, Channel 14 in West Dallas, we'd like to have you. So just want to throw that out there.
And the Brewer season.
Vince at brewcrewreview.com and RSVP.
Let's throw that around here once again. Any of you guys, if you want to talk to Scotty, throw him an email. Scotty he doesn't get treated that well, but he loves emails, especially from comments about how much you like his segment we got coming up. Once again, we're in the Hello Scott Bartell. That's coming up. But we got Scott at brewcrewreview.com. And if you want to email Chad, it's Chad at brewcrewreview.com. You can get me at Craig at brewcrewreview.com, and of course at Vince at brewcrewreview.com. So anyway, getting back to another invitation we're going to throw out there. Obviously, the season winding down. We just have 10 home games left, and after that, it's sad. We'll have to just wait all winter for next opening day. But
it's going to be crazy, by the way.
Next opening day. We're already looking forward to that.
Great time.
What I was thinking is, if the season ends and you still want to tailgate with us, just send us an email. We'll do our best to tailgate at Miller Park even after the season ends. We'll see if that's a possibility.
Send us your picture too. By the way. Good.
But all right, getting back to, we keep getting off that topic. Once again, what do you guys feel? If you were the manager, Ned Yost, of the Milwaukee Brewers, what is your feeling as far as what do you do with basically Prince Fielder and Corey Hart, the young guys, as we wind down the season? How do you use them? As he has been doing as pinch hitters, or do you get them some spot starts, start them more than the veterans in their current positions, or how do you handle this?
I think Ned Yost has to. He's obviously talking to Doug Melvin, and I'm sure they have a game plan for next year. Now with Prince Fielder, it looks like Lyle Overbay may not be here next year. That's just pure speculation. Again, I have a source in the ticket department. Sure what your name was.
Is that Carter?
Tom.
Nameless, fellas. Nameless.
Tom Carter.
Tom Carter.
Okay, that's it. Tom Carter.
He's not supposed to know I told you this, but he said that Overbay is as good as gone next year. That's his opinion. He's been right sometimes. He's been wrong more times than right. But yeah, I think if Overbay is going to be gone next year, then I think Prince should be starting every day. Just keep him going. And when he is starting, he's doing a good job. Now, as far as Corey Hart, I think it's another thing. As far as Brady Clark, are we going to keep Brady Clark? I don't know. I think now might be a good time to maybe trade him as much as I like him. I don't know if his stock can be any higher. And I think if Brady Clark is going to be traded, then you start Corey Hart. I think if they plan on keeping Brady Clark, then I think Corey Hart has to come off the bench because I don't think Carlos Lee, Jeff Jenkins, or Brady Clark should be benched at any time this year because all three of them are doing pretty well. So I think it's basically whatever your plan is next year, and then you go off of that. If Overbay's not going to be back, it's just like a Royce Clayton thing. When we knew Royce Clayton wasn't going to come back, then he didn't play at all anymore. And I think that's just the way it goes. So basically it's whatever you're going to do next year and you play off of that. So that's my opinion on that one.
I just want to point out, I totally agree with you, Chad, especially about Brady Clark. As much as I too love Clark, I think that unfortunately it's a game, but it's also a business, and I think that Clark is going to have to go just because I think that we can get value for him right now. It's buy low and sell high, I suppose. And Clark, like you said, his stock is never going to be any higher. The guy's put together a career year. Some other team could certainly use him in a leadoff role next year for their team or in center
He's
field.
a little older too. So.
He's a little bit older than the guys we have in the system, either Krinzel or Corey Hart. So I unfortunately think he is probably gone this winter, and best wishes to him if he is.
Yeah.
Scott?
Honestly, this is the first time in probably the last decade that the Brewers have actually just an absolute wealth of talent. We have more players than we can put in the lineup, and what a great problem to have. But I guess right now this is also one of the first years where we don't necessarily have to sell high. I mean, right now is Krenzel or Corey Hart in center going to be better than Brady next year? Well, I guess that's up for debate, but I guess we don't have to sell just because somebody's value is high is all I'm really saying.
That makes sense. That's a good point, Scotty.
You're surprised that one of Scott's comments made sense over here,
Scott,
Craig?
you've been doing your homework, buddy.
I'm going to pop the top.
Proud of you. Wow.
That's pretty dang good.
That's good, guys. Good commentary.
I can't follow up on that.
Well, I'm going to throw out my opinion. I kind of like the fact that Overbay. Well, I want us to finish over 500 for one, to break that streak, and
you just want to go to a certain party on Blue Mountain. That's the only reason.
That's right. That's right.
Actually, do we want to inform the
Can we say long
general Wisconsin public about?
One of our.
We can just say LWs on Blue Mountain.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, we
can't.
Yeah, we can't say. Oh, we can say. No.
Can we say long longs on the air?
No.
We can't say long longs
No,
on the
you
air?
can't.
Just say LWs then.
And just wink at the camera.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
A certain Chinese American
all right, let's
sports
start
bar.
that.
That's all right, Paul. We
Blue
got
Mountain.
you.
So anyway, there's a certain
on.
what is that, about 44th and Blue Mountain, 42nd and Blue Mountain?
Well, if we can't throw out Paul Wong's name or...
we can't do the address either.
Well, no, we can. I'm saying it's right by Derry Haggerty's pub.
Just the place that does
We can't say
karaoke
that.
on
We can't say
Fridays.
Derry Haggerty's
No,
either.
you can't say that.
Okay.
Well,
Is my burger done? Well, anyway, if the Brewers finish over 500, it's going to be cause for celebration. We're not going to say where you can celebrate or anything like that. But
Paul Wong's place.
maybe at there or Dracapalooza we've been talking about at the office.
Dracapalooza, Prospect.
Yeah.
France House, we're all
2005.
moving in apparently.
Yep.
Anyway, well, you viewers probably don't know what we're talking about, but that's okay. That doesn't bother us. But anyway, getting back to my take on, I think we should finish over 500, and we're just game or so below 500 here with a couple of weeks to play. I think we have to put the best lineup forward, and I really do think that Prince, even at this stage, is possibly an equal to Lyle Overby, but he probably isn't defensively. So what we've got to do is I say get Prince as at bats as a pinch hitter, possibly a spot start once a week is what I do here for the rest of the season. If Prince gets hot or if Overby is slumping, then you go with the hot hand, it's like he's done from day one. When he was benching, Lyle Overby against left-handers for Wes Helms earlier in the season, that same strategy. As far as Corey Hart goes, I think he might be more of a defensive liability. So because of that, I would say Corey Hart would probably be less likely to get regular playing time, even though coming out the bench or if someone gets hurt, he'd be great to have. But I'd make sure more so to get Prince a little bit more at-bats and spot start Corey Hart maybe a few more times this season. So,
Craig, do you think that I think we might even be a more powerful team with Fielder in right now than Overby. It seems like Overby's been slumping a lot, and when Prince has had his starts, he's done pretty well. I don't know if it's coincidence or not, but ever since, if you want to roll back that footage, when Lyle Overby made the air to us at the Brew Review in Cincinnati, he has kind of slumped since then.
yeah,
so.
it's like that. He just sometimes does the airs and Well, anyway.
So,
Well, we're a huge fan of Lyle, though. So here at the show, he's been a gracious Brew Crew Review supporter and fan.
He actually
of the
enjoys
show.
our show quite a bit. He said that he viewed the DVD and liked his interviews and all of our commentary, really.
And if indeed we have to trade him in the offseason, well, we're going to miss Lyle indeed. But anyway, Prince Fielder is most likely the future of our franchise. I think no one would argue with that. So anyway, let's go ahead and go to let's find out from Mr. Yost himself what his plans are for these guys for the remainder of the season. So let's go ahead into the Brewer locker room and ask Ned Yost what his feelings are.
Corey Hart had a big pinch hit 2-run homer tonight. What's the plan as far as young guys like him and Prince for the rest of the season, as far as trying to get them regular at bats or possibly a few starts before the end of the year?
They're here to back up right now. So, if the opportunity presents itself, they'll get a chance to start. But, we've got frontline guys out there, so we're not experimenting too much right now.
Okay, so we're back. That was Ned Yost, and what he basically said, he's going to go with his veterans. He's going to stick with Lyle, and he's going to play his best players, which I think he thinks is Lyle, Brady, and Jeff Jenkins. And I don't necessarily disagree with him, but hopefully we can get Fielder in there and Hard, so they can contribute, make our bench deeper. And we're glad to have them up here with the Brewers, and hopefully for a long time. But like you guys were saying, I kind of agree with we got to take a look at those guys. Especially, I think Brady Clark might be expendable in the offseason, even though it's going to be really difficult to replace a 300 hitting leadoff hitter with a great on-base percentage like Brady has had. But we do have other options. Krinzel, he's 24 years old next year. He's going to be ready probably for the major league, so you can't hold him back. And also Corey Hart and Nelson Cruz are possible options at the center field position. So all those guys are more than 23 years old now. Between 23 and 25, so I think they're ready for the big leagues. So, all right, well, we're preparing our sandwiches, putting on our condiments here. We're going to take a short break and.
Can I
get some mustard, please?
Seriously.
Sure, here you go.
Those of you at home, condiments are the safe way. Remember that.
So let's go to the
Use
segment.
your condiments.
Well, let's go to the segment here. We're going to we'll come back with a Brewer prospect profile on one of our young stars. We'll be right back. All right, so we're going to be back with our second installment of our prospect profile, and today we're going to feature one of the guys that we drafted in the second round of the 2002 draft, and that was, of course, the guy that's going to be our shortstop of the future, and of course he's been shortstop from day one this year. It's kind of an up and down season, but we're talking about J.J. Hardy. So let me quick go over, Hardy's track record here as a prospect and how he's accelerated through the system and got to Milwaukee and possibly here to stay. So let's harken back to the 2001 draft. We got him in the second round. Great pick by scouting director Jack Zrensick. And let's go over some of his stats.
Marco?
No.
In 2001 at rookie ball at Ogden, J.J. Hardy batted .248. He had 2 home runs and 15 RBIs, but he had a pretty decent on-base percentage of .333. In 2002, he started up. We brought him all the way up to High Desert, which is our high A ball. At the age of 19, at J.J. Hardy and 335 at-bats, he hit .293, hit 6 homers with 48 RBIs, and had a .327 on-base percentage and a great fielding percentage. 2002, we had called him up halfway through the year to AA Huntsville, and he excelled there. Actually, no, he had a little bit of struggle. He had .228,
no,
1 home run, 13 RBIs. Irregardless, at the beginning of the 2003 season, we started him off at Huntsville once again at the age of 20, 416 at-bats. He hit 12 home runs, 62 RBIs, and hit .279 with a great fielding percentage. I think it was that season that really made the Brewers brass say that they want to rush this guy through the system, and he's almost ready for the major leagues. All right, in 2004, high hopes for young J.J. Hardy. They brought him up to AAA Indianapolis at the time, and at the age of 21, in 101 at-bats, he had 4 homers, 20 RBIs, and hit .277. So what happened, though, halfway through that season, or not even halfway through the season, he basically suffered an injury that cost him the rest of that year. So he basically, his growth through the system was kind of stunted. And basically, J.J. Hardy, it was kind of a question mark coming in this year whether or not we're going to start him back at AAA, let him play out the whole season there, go with maybe Bill Hall at shortstop or sign someone in the offseason, someone like maybe Barry Larkin, who ended up retiring, of course, as a Ret, but someone like Rich Arulia was kind of out there on the table. But instead, the Brewer brass said, okay, this kid should be ready. He's ready fielding-wise at least. So let's go ahead and throw him out there and see what he can do. And so from day one, he started here at Miller Park in 2005, and it's been an up-and-down season for him. He, of course, batted in the first half, 187, lost a little bit of his starting playing time to Bill Hall, who was having a great first half. And then he got back on track in the second half, and during the second half here, he's been one of the best shortstops in baseball, hitting near 300 with great fielding.
Well, I also, not to interrupt you here, but I'd like to point out the fact that we talked about this before a bit, I think on the show, but J.J. Hardy was told going into the first half not to worry about his hitting. Ned Yost told him that it wasn't. All right. Ned Yost told him that it wasn't important. He said, focus on your defense. You're going to be just fine. And I think that was basically what it came down to, is he wasn't doing that.
All right, so getting back to, I agree with your point.
I apologize about the comedy here before, but no,
I apologize.
J.J. Hardy was the guy who was supposed to be focused on his defense, wasn't supposed to be worried about his offense. He comes back now when he has a little time to adjust to the big leagues, and now he's playing great at the big league level, both offensively and defensively.
Do you think he's a guy like career we can depend on for like 270, 280, 20 home runs, 70, 80 RBIs?
John Barnes, who is a guy that we're supposed to be, we're going to have on the show later on. We're going to do an interview with him. He actually is a person who works in the Brewers front office, as all of you know, but perhaps the other viewers in Wisconsin don't. But in any case, he told me that he was comparing J.J. Hardy's stats to Robin Yount's stats. And you can see with the animated clip that we have now showing to you up on the screen that they're actually, J.J. Hardy is not far off of Robin Yount's original track. So I think that if you look at their first seasons and the first half of their first seasons, you're going to see not somebody that perhaps will be the next Robin Yount, but somebody who has that potential and somebody who we shouldn't get down on right away just because he didn't perform offensively like we wanted him to the first half. Just give the guy some time, be patient, and keep in mind the fact that he's listening to his manager.
I agree with you that Yount came out at a very young age, even younger than Hardy, obviously. 18 years old, we already, by the time he was 19, we had him already in the major leagues as a starter. J.J. Hardy, we drafted him at 18, we rushed him up pretty fast, but he's up and he's our starter from here on out most likely. But that's an interesting and ironic thing that you point out that he's very similar to Brewer Hall of Famer Robin Yount, starting off as a young shortstop, because J.J. Hardy happens to be good friends with Robin Yount's son. They both grew up together and played baseball together in the Arizona area. So without much further ado, we got a chance to talk to young J.J. Hardy and in the locker room after a recent Brewer game. And we're going to go ahead and learn a little bit more about J.J. Hardy and what it's been like here in his first season in the big leagues with the Milwaukee Brewers. So let's go ahead and go to that interview.
Let's roll it.
Here with J.J. Hardy, a young shortstop for the Milwaukee Brewers. J.J., you've had a long rookie season here. Gone through a lot, I'm sure, ups and downs. But first of all, kind of starting back from let's go back to last year. You suffered. You were kind of going quickly through the Brewers minor league system. With a need at shortstop here on the major league level for the Brewers, and you suffered a season-ending injury last year at AA. How tough was it to deal with that injury, knowing that it was going to kind of slow down your progression here to the big leagues before you finally made it this year?
It was, it was hard on me. I played 26 games last year in AAA when I took a swing and my shoulder popped completely out of place. I tore the labrum in the front and the back. Ended my season, rehabbed the whole season and most of the off season. Then came to spring training and had to battle to make a job or make the team here. And it's been tough. It's been it's been really hard to bounce back from.
And then you came to spring training this year with an opportunity to win the job at shortstop, and of course you made your major league debut in Pittsburgh at the first game of the season. And your first major league hit, of course, was a two-run single that helped the Brewers to a victory. Tell me about that day, the first day of the season, and that hit in particular, about how it felt that day.
It was good just finally to be up here. It's like everyone says, it's the lifelong dream to be a big league ball player, and then for that to actually happen after me not playing much last year and them giving me a chance to play up here, and it's been great. It's that hit was it was something I'll remember for the rest of my life.
Excellent. And obviously, you've improved your batting average quite a bit here in the second half. In fact, your second half batting average is amongst the leaders of shortstops in the NL. You've really turned things around here on this season with more at bats. Tell us, did you make any adjustments in your batting, or do you work closely with the batting coach, or what's really the difference between your first half and your second half here of the Brewers?
I think, I do work a lot with Butch Weininger, our hitting coach, and the first half I struggled. I was still not trusting my shoulder all the way. I was still learning, I was still learning the pitchers. I was still learning just about everything about the big league level. And, the second half I started to feel a little bit more comfortable, and I'm starting to trust my shoulder a little bit more, and I've started to get a few more hits.
Yeah. And, of course, you also have been amongst the leaders in NL in the fielding percentage for a shortstop. Have you always been a great fielder? Do you take pride in that, or what basically do you account that to? Is it something growing up in high school, or have you just always been able to field good?
I think, I just think I focus on fielding a lot. That was always my the better part of my game, and I think they told me from day one that they drafted me that I was going to be a defensive shortstop, and anything else I did offensively was just a bonus.
And then just recently a day game in Cincinnati, of course, you had probably one of your best games as a major leaguer, 4 hits, a grand slam, 6 RBIs, quite amazing stats. From what I understand, was that your first grand slam you've ever hit at a professional level?
No, I hit one, in the big league level, yeah, but I hit one last year in AAA towards, before I got hurt. And but yeah, that was definitely the best game I played in the big leagues this year.
Okay. And one last question. You're from Arizona, and from what I understand, did you either play baseball or know? Of course, Brewer, longtime icon, Robbie Young, his son. Did you have some type of contact with him in Arizona?
Yeah, I played on teams with him and played against teams with him, basically all the way through high school, and we became really good friends, and we hang out in the off seasons and fish and just play golf, and we're really good buddies.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, and then one last question, JJ. Pretty much looking to the future, the Brewers, of course, their goal this year is to try to finish with a winning record and kind of break that streak they've got, and hopefully you can be part of that. But also for the future, obviously you see a lot of guys in the clubhouse here that you've either passed by in the minor leagues or are now, part of the team's future, and including especially on the infield with Ricky Weeks and Prince Fielder. Tell me what do you see as the future of baseball here in Milwaukee, and how you're going to be part of that. But what do you see pretty much here as far as bringing wing baseball to Milwaukee with the core of these young guys, including yourself?
I think, you look at it, from the minor league perspective. Every year that we were all together, we won in the minor leagues. We were always in the playoffs, championship games, and we've all started to move up to the big league level, and it's going to be positive. Everything that's going to come from this is definitely going to be positive.
All right, JJ. Well, good luck for the rest of the season and for the rest of your career, for that matter. But the Milwaukee Brewers, of course, happy to have you as our shortstop of the future. So again, JJ, thanks for the interview.
Thank you.
Take care.
That was welcome back to the Brew Crew Review. We just saw an interview with JJ Hardy, and again, we're looking forward to the future infield, including JJ Hardy as our shortstop.
Yeah, hell of a job, or a heck of a job.
Thanks. Yeah. All right, so let's get right to our next segment. Again, stay tuned. We got a nice segment coming up, our second installment of Where in the Hell is Scott Bartell, and we'll figure out where he was this week. He was kind of missing. So anyway, getting back to another topic, let's talk about the Brewers bullpen. What do you guys feel? Like, we've added some influx of guys, Kane Davis, Justin Lair. We've added Jose Capion from the minor leagues, and then we've gotten some guys back from injury, including Matt Wise.
Danny Evelyn.
Julio Santana, I believe, is coming back. Danny Evelyn's been a great addition.
Justin Lair.
Yeah, so what do you guys feel as far as our current state of the bullpen? Do you think that, what are your feelings on that? How good of a job has Mike Maddox done? Obviously, Turnbull's been lights out all year, which is a great revelation here for the Brewers. But as far as bridging that gap, how have these guys done? First of all, filling in for Matt Wise, and then since his return, what do you think of the makeup of our bullpen and the options Yost has?
Well, I'm a little scared about the gap. I think maybe if Capian gets more experience, he'll be fine. Matt Wise, I think, would be a great setup man. The only thing I don't like is we don't settle on an eighth inning setup man guy. I wish we just had one guy where we settle.
I really think that should be Wise, don't you guys?
Yeah, I do. But even when he is healthy, they didn't go to him all the time. They'd mess around with Santana, or they'd throw even like De La Rosa 1 or 2 times, or they just throw in anybody in there. I wish we had one guy who was definitely our number 8 guy. Maybe we don't have anyone that is worthy of working every 8th inning for a setup, but I was hoping.
So if
that
there's
we
one
would.
guy who that would be, what would you do if you're Yost?
Well, I think I would just definitely stick with Wise. I mean, he probably has the number 1 or 2 best changeup in baseball with Trevor Hoffman. So I think Wise would be great. He's been pretty good. He only got lit up 1 time, and that's why his ERA is a little swollen. But I think Wise is the man. As far as the other guys, I don't know. It's almost like a crapshoot. I mean, I don't know if we can trust Santana. De La Rosa's been shaky. Justin Lair, I was pretty excited about, but he's hurt us a couple times. I don't know. Maybe that's one thing we need to go after free agency is one more free agent guy. I trust Doug Melvin that he can find someone or maybe acquire someone, but I don't know. The bullpen is definitely, I think, the weak point of the team right now. What do you think about that, Scott?
I really think it's true. Unfortunately, it seemed like when Santana and Wise went down, we had to start dealing with everything the way we could. I mean, it's just you throwing guys in there, the fire, and what are you going to do? I mean, I'd like to see Wise come in the 8th inning if it's a meaningful game. If not, just throw out anybody. I don't really care who works an inning if we're down. But, yeah, I think Wise is the guy right now. It's really a shame that Ricky Bottalico didn't, pan out the way it did because that's really starting to hurt us right now.
But I think we've got better options right now with Ricky Bottalico, and even though his veteran presence, I think we've got a mixture of young guys and veteran guys in the bullpen to get us through to hopefully a winning record. Vince, what do you see as if you're Yost? Right now we've got the problem of having 4th and 5th starters that maybe if you're lucky are going to go 5 or 6 quality innings. That means you've got each game 3 or 4 innings possibly to bridge the gap to Turnbull, or 3 to 4 to get to Turnbull if we're winning. So basically, who do you trust in those roles? If we get Rick Kelly gets through 5 good innings, and you got to fill the 6th, 7th, and 8th before we get to Turnbull. Who are the guys you throw out there? Who would be your top choices?
Well, as far as the 6th and the 7th goes, I'm still going to bank on the fact that a starter is going to be able to throw more than 5 quality innings, and if not, let's mix and match, throw guys out there depending on the situation. What I do feel strongly about is that in the 8th inning we should have a guy that could act almost like the 96 Yankees had when they had Rivera and John Whalen, just the 1-2 punch that can be lights out every single game, almost a guaranteed win for a team that can come out there, throw these same 2 guys in every situation, 8th and 9th innings. For us, and this isn't proven yet, and that's one of the problems I think that Yost is running into, is that we haven't found this guy yet. But if I had to bet, I would bet on Jose Capeon as being that guy. I like the fact that he throws hard. I like the fact that he's got a lot of potential. He's got a live arm. He's got a lot of upside. And quite frankly, right now he's new, and a lot of guys aren't going to know what he throws yet. He's going to be a bit mysterious to batters for the first year or 2 that he's in the league. I like the fact that he's a prospect, and I think that if we can use him in the 8th inning and hopefully next year and the rest of this season in September here, and then Turnbow in the 9th, I think he'd be a great 1-2 punch. I like his velocity. I
guess another thing we should point out is that in the 7th and 8th innings, finding a reliable guy that's going to be able to go out there and shut everybody down, that's a problem that 80% of the people in the league are going to have. I mean, teams don't really have that anymore. There's just not a lot of those hard throwers out there, it seems like. And it seems like every closer got hurt this year. Turnbull, luckily, he's done a great job. But, I mean, it's a common problem. We're not the only ones.
Yeah, I agree. And if it was me, once again, I really like Evelyn, how he's looked. I think we're going to, as already reported, we're going to probably convert him back to being a starter like he has been through his minor league and career. And but right now, he's a great guy. I think to be there like the 7th inning is the guy that I really trust is Dana Evelyn in the 7th inning to get us to what I also believe should be Matt Wise's job as being the 8th inning setup man. He's just proven that he can get that job done, and of course Turnbow has been brilliant in the 9th. So if we can keep with that strategy and then give the other guys opportunities when they deserve them, or depending on pitching matchups, I think that's the best way to go. All right, so let's go ahead to had a chance to talk to the guy we've been talking about here as our 8th favorite for an 8th inning setup guy, and he's been doing that job pretty well for us since he came off the DL recently, and that's of course Matt Wise, and of course more affectionately known in the Brewer Clubhouse as Woody. So let's go ahead and go to that interview with Matt Wise, Brewers reliever.
We're here with Brewers reliever Matt Wise. Matt Wise, you recently returned from the DL. Basically, what do you think about the Brewers' chances this year of finishing with a winning record? Obviously, the bullpen and the starting rotation had to deal with some injuries, including yourself. Explain how pitching coach Mike Maddox has kind of held things together with such a mix of veterans and young guys here in the pitching staff.
He just gets us prepared, every day. And, as far as our chances of finishing above 500, we just have to take it day by day and hopefully come out tomorrow and put a W on the board. We can't really look to the end of the season. You know, we have to take tomorrow first, and then the next day after that. So I think our chances are pretty good though if we keep that approach and you know, keep throwing the ball well. And you know, our offense is doing pretty good right now.
And when Mike Maddox, how does he work with the staff? You know, when you're in a jam, he comes out to the mound. You know, he gets his own song here in Miller Park as he comes out to the mound. What does he say to you as a pitcher out there on the mound when he comes, you know, to kind of settle you down?
He just tries to, you know, like you said, settle us down. He doesn't necessarily tell, you know, the same speech to everybody. Some guys, he just, you know, gives us a breather. You know, if we've had to work pretty hard to get the last out, or he just, you know, maybe just tell us how to pitch the next guy, you know, what a good scouting report is for him. So it's probably differs, you know, day by day and situation by situation.
Okay, and is there any particular players around Major League Baseball? Obviously, you get to pitch against a lot of guys, being the setup man for the Milwaukee Brewers, pitching in the eighth inning, bridging that gap to the ninth. Turnbow has had a great season. Is there anyone in particular in the league that like just gives you fits as a pitcher? Is there someone like you just don't like facing, or is someone really tough to face?
Oh, you know, there's so many of them. You know, there's pretty much everybody with a bat in their hand, you know, at that time could hurt you. So you just, I'm not going to give enough, you know, credit to any one particular guy, but there are a lot of really good hitters in the league, and if I'm pitching late in the game and the game's close, you know, any one swing can tie up a game or give them the lead. So whoever's at bat at that time, you know, I just have to visit the best hitter in the world at that time, you know, so I just got to focus and try and get them out.
Okay. Another quick question about dealing with an injury like you've had to and the DL stint. How difficult is that mentally to stay focused on getting back to back off the DL and pitching again in the big leagues?
It's really tough, you know, especially when I was out. There were some situations that I would have probably been a chance for me to pitch, and you know, you feel worthless. You know, you're not part of the team really. You are, but you're not. You know, it's hard to really get through it.
And a little lighter note question. I know you've got a couple of nicknames in the clubhouse here, Woody or Wiser. Do you have a preference on any of them, or do you know where the nickname Woody came about?
Woody's because people think I look like Woody from Toy Story, but no, I don't care. As long as I'm in the big leagues, they can call me whatever they want.
That makes sense. And one last question here, Matt. Also, I heard that Jeff Jenkins has kind of a fantasy football league here. Did you get to partake in that this year?
Well, it's not his league, but yeah, I'm in it. He thinks it's his league. He's won the last 2 years, and he's definitely not going to win it this year. And we're putting a strong foot forward, and he's starting tomorrow. So hopefully we'll win it.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Matt. Thanks for your time, and good luck on the rest of the season. Thanks a lot.
All right, and once again, that was Matt Wise, obviously a much cordial fella, as we found out. Anyway, talking about the Brewers bullpen, Matt Wise is the staple, and hopefully he sticks around with the Brewers for a long time. He's a great guy.
And also, it was funny how you brought out the Brewers Fantasy Football League. I don't know why, but they somehow let Scotty Bartell in the Fantasy League. And I don't know, Scott, what was your top round pick for the Brewers Fantasy Football League this year? How did you get into their Fantasy Football League?
Well, I got eliminated from it. The problem is that they asked me to turn in a list of my favorites, and they would draft them for me. I picked all Brewers, and it's not
They're
gonna
like
work.
it's football.
I didn't know.
They couldn't find him for a few days. They were
idea.
probably wondering where in the hell Scott Bartell was.
And that's a great segue, Vince. And in fact, I taught him that word this week, and he came through for me on the set here. Great job. Yeah. So we're segueing to our second installment, of course, of Scott's. Basically, what we do is about midweek, no one knows where Scott is. Usually there's a game going on, and we're like, okay, we got to find him. So we kind of wander around Miller Park with a camera until we come upon Scott. But this week we got some exclusive footage. We got word that Scott moved on to greener pastures from the Brew Review, and we were kind of fearful that he was leaving us at the Brew Review and moving to basically a better job. We don't pay him for this.
There is not a better job than working here for Brew Review. But
still people partying out here in the park. Hey, ladies.
Rock and roll.
Anyway, anyway, let's go ahead and go to this segment, and we'll let the footage speak for itself. But, Scotty, special segment, where in the hell is Scott Bartell?
Hello, Brewer fans. As you know, we started off working a little cable show, public access, then Wisconsin, on demand. You demanded it. Now we've moved on to even bigger and better things. Welcome to Sports Center. I'm Scott Bartell. As you can see, our top story tonight, probably the Brewers. They're doing pretty good right now. They're just a game under 500, and they're taking on Houston as we speak. I have actually quite a few notes to go over. Should be here for, this is probably going to be a 3-hour segment, just so you know. So sit tight. Commercial free, of course. Just get into some of our stories and our stats today.
Excuse me, sir. Do you have any credentials? I don't believe you belong here.
And we'll have a few commercials. This is Scott Bartell signing off.
Security,
We'll be right back.
we've
Thank
got
you
another
and have a great
breach.
day. Thank you.
Crazy people in Wisconsin.
Okay,
Scotty.
that was Scotty.
Scotty.
What's that?
Honestly,
Scotty, you were going to leave us for a job at Sports Center?
You guys know I would
Are you
never do
serious?
that. It's just, sometimes opportunities
How much were they paying
arise.
you? You knew I couldn't match it, but whatever.
You don't live in Connecticut?
It's just opportunities arise. You have to take
Scott.
advantage of them.
Okay, let's
Scott, and
get
my other question always for Scott is, why are you always alone? Every single week we tell you at the beginning of the week, before you disappear, at the end of the weekend, Scott, we're your friends. You can get a hold of us. We'll actually go places with you like friends do, mostly on camera. But either way, I just don't understand why you'd like to just kind of leave us and go ditch us for nobody.
The big thing is I don't have a cell phone yet, but I'm going to get one. 2009, we're talking cell phone right here.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
This guy's saving up.
It's all right.
Saving up.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
But, on Scott's defense, this man's got skills. He may not have a whole lot of friends, but this guy's got skills. He's got skee ball skills. He's got evading security skills.
Pin to tail on the donkey.
apparently the skills aren't good enough to beat everyone.
I heard
in
you're
Miller
good
Park.
at bar dice, too. I've heard lots about that.
Play a
And
lot of bar
Yahtzee.
dice.
He's a world champion of Yahtzee here, folks.
You saw
Right
you saw his resume when you gave him the job here.
Yeah, exactly. Well, anyway, but talking about this, Scott, how exactly did you get by ESPN security at Sports Center?
Oh, it's a tricky thing, but originally they invited me. That's my story. I'm sticking to it.
I really don't think so, Scott.
No,
you
they
were not
did.
trusted. You didn't even wear your suit, Scotty. What were you doing?
I didn't have time to.
Scott the clip.
They invited me.
No, Scott.
Screw you
clip.
guys. They invited me.
All right. Well, anyway, the security had much to differ on that one. So, all right, let's get along to our next segment. And first of all, let's again encourage you guys, if you haven't already checked out, I'm sure you visit there all the time, but it's the brewcrewreview.com, our website. Go there and check that out. And again, send us an email.
We're up to 12 hits now, by the way.
Yeah.
Up to 12 hits.
Six of those are mine, though.
Sorry, Scott.
Yeah, Scott's already gotten 6 emails. We've only gotten 1. But keep those emails coming to us. And Chad actually received a few emails, though, with people trying to win those free tickets. And we've got a winner and email question of the week. So, again, if you're interested in winning again for next time or just want to have your question read on the show, go ahead and email Chad at brewcrewreview.com, and he'll go ahead and possibly read your question, and we'll answer it, your brewer topic here on air. So, anyway, this week's winner is, drum roll please.
Oh, we got one from Caledonia, Wisconsin. All right. Hello, Caledonia.
All right, Caledonia in the house.
Branching
Caledonia
out.
in the house.
Branching
All right.
out.
Caledonia.
Caledonia was out of party.
Knows how to party.
Yes, they do. Racine County, by the way. Watch out for the sheriffs. This one's coming from a Jack Mayhofer from Caledonia, Wisconsin. It says, hello, boys. Love the show. Just wondering, if the Brewers finish 500 this year, that would be a great stepping stone. What do you think their chances are for a wild card or playoff berth next year? Take care. Enjoy the show. Jack Mayhofer.
All right, well, that's a good question, Jack. Thanks for sending that in. Again, we'll have your 2 tickets in the mail shortly. And, anyway, let me start by answering that if you guys don't mind. Basically, it's really tough to say right now because of the fact that we haven't finished 500 for the year in 2005 yet. So I think we have to bring winning baseball back to Milwaukee and then make that step toward the playoff. But as we speak, we're less than 7 games out of the wild card race. So if you can enter August and September within 5 games of that, and we've got a new owner, Mark Antanasio, who is willing to spend money probably to bring winning baseball back to Milwaukee. And at deadlines, like the trading deadlines each year, and next year in particular, if we need that extra player to give us over that edge, I think he's going to be willing to do that, unlike the previous regime of C-League. Obviously, C-League didn't have that many opportunities in the last 15 years to go ahead and bring in someone as we're in a playoff chase, but what are you going to do besides bring in a new owner? But
Bill Franco.
Ricky Henderson.
We did
No,
have
we
some
brought in Julio.
Ricky and Keel.
Oh yeah.
acquisitions. But I think the first step is we have to, look at address our off-season needs here as a team in the off-season, bring in some key free agents, and also continue to develop our young players and work them in as we have been. And I think, maybe not next year, but I think hopes next year is that we compete the whole season, get excitement going for baseball here in Milwaukee, and possibly stay at least in the wild card race. As far as us winning a playoff spot next year, I think it's a far cry, but let's hope we at least compete for that. That's my opinion, at least. What do you guys feel?
I don't know if it's as far cry as some of us might be expecting, just because we've had a bad team for so long. But honestly, right now around baseball, I think a lot of people's heads are turning a bit. We've had a manager that's gained our team a bit of respect. We've got prospects that are ranking in the top level of prospects within every Major League Baseball organization, and I think that the chances are when these guys gel, it's going to be pretty impressive what they can do here for us in Milwaukee. So I'm looking forward to it, and I think that next year is not a far cry. And 2 years down the road, I would say that we should be optimistic.
Definitely.
I don't think it's a far cry either. I mean, I think St. Louis is getting a little older. I mean, players like Scott Rowland kind of broke down a little bit. How much longer can Jim Edmonds go? And their pitching staff, can they do the same thing?
Larry Walker will be gone.
Larry Walker will be gone.
Yeah.
I mean, can their pitching staff repeat what they did this year? It's been amazing. Houston, too, is getting older. Bagwell's already broken down. Can Biggio have another good year like he had? Clemens, will he even be back? I mean, who knows? So Pettit, he's been injury prone. So Pittsburgh's still in the cellar. Cincinnati's got a lot of work to do. I don't see why we can't make a run next year. And to me, if we're in a so-called rebuilding year where people are just getting their time right now, and we're still in somewhat the wild card race right now, I don't see why next year we can't be in it.
I think the key is also health. This year we've been relatively healthy outside the Sheets injury. I think that if you're going to stay and compete the whole season with a team with not as much depth, we've been building our depth over the years here through our farm system, but you can't have injuries to your key guys, especially someone like Sheets. Like if we were really, really right 1 or 2 games out before the Sheets injury this year, it would have been really heartbreaking, because the loss of someone that valuable to our organization really, can set us back. So if we're able to stay healthy from day one, a whole full season with the amount of talent that I think that we have, and hopefully can bring some more in, I'm excited about Brewer baseball here in the future. If not next year, not only next year but beyond. I think we're going to have winning baseball in Milwaukee for the next 5 years. So get out to the games and support your Milwaukee Brewers.
And that's a good point. I think that, like you said, Mr. Antonasio's making a commitment. He's going to raise payroll. I think the fans need to make a commitment too. I mean, granted, we have had plus 2 million people this year and last year with a sub 500 team. But again, at Houston, attendance really disappointed me with Roger Clemens being there. And then Saturday too, we got a big series against the Cardinals in 2 weeks. Coming up, and we got fan appreciation night. That's a good game to go to on Saturday. We need to get at least 30,000 there. We have to show our commitment too if we want Antonasio to spend more money. I think it's a commitment that works both ways. And by the way, I saw you almost caught that home run ball by Corey Hart, his second.
Yeah, that pinch hit home run,
I
Scott.
really wasn't expecting it. I thought the pitcher was going to be up, and Yost made the move. It panned out for us. I honestly, if I would have been better prepared, I thought I would have had a shot at it.
It looked like you put down your Diet Pepsi just in time, and then.
What was with that kid next to you? Was crying and saying something about a glove being gone?
That didn't happen.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, it looked like. Well, anyway, we'll have to watch the footage later, but it almost looked like he was holding your beverage and. You had on a glove. It didn't look like it fit you, but anyway.
Maybe
you didn't make
instead
the catch,
It was lefty.
I'll talk about how great. Instead of talking about that, I'll talk about how great. I really think that we have a legitimate playoff shot next year and for many years to come. I mean, really, if you look at it, if Ben was healthy all year, who knows where this team could have been? I mean, there's just unbelievable.
That's called avoiding the subject, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Sports Center. Scott Bartell.
I'm not finished. Yes, you are. Just give me a second. I'm almost done. I just have to wrap it. Oh! Security!
All right, well, that wraps up this great edition of the Brew Crew Review. Once again, visit our website at www.brewcrewreview.com. Send us an email at brewcrewreview@yahoo.com. You'll win 2 free tickets to a future brewery game.
And a tailgate party.
And a tailgate party.
Tailgate party, yep.
So once again, to the right, my good friend Scott. We'll find out next week where the hell he is 2 weeks from now.
I
To
won't
my
even
left,
know where I am.
the great Vince Travato with the Aviators 2, and our lovely and talented producer, 24-year-old producer, Mary.
Mary,
So,
thank you for coming out.
Thank you for coming out.
And Craig is actually in the studio
Craig is
wrapping
in the
this
studio.
up.
I
So
thought he was in the
I
bathroom,
figured
but
I'd
he's in the
finish up for
studio.
you guys. It was a great show.
thought we
Good.
ditched- we thought we
But
ditched
you know,
him.
next time I think I'm gonna have to teach you how to cook.
Well, Mary, you're not the first one that's criticized my meat. So,
Well,
anyways, we have to remind everyone back
What?
at home to
Stay classy, Wisconsin. Just liked when you burped on the air, Chad. That was cool.
Oh, she did. I'll do it again.
I was laughing pretty hard.
For an opening week, this was a really uneventful week of football.
Oh yeah.
I
It
was
was pretty
really,
low scoring.
I was totally like looking forward to seeing something really cool happening, and nothing really did.
Nope.
It's a bunch of poppycock. That's what it is.
They're perfect, I'm telling you.
Perfect.
I was the perfect man today.
Oh, he's doing great. We had a nice combo.
Marty.
He's doing well. Oh, Marty's doing well. He says he loved our last show. He did. He's like, hey, do you have any aviators? He's like, do you have your aviators on you? I'm like, they're in my pocket, Marty. He's like, it was a great clip. And I really loved you laying down in the water like that. He's like, and those guys, he's like, you guys look like you had a great time on that trip. I'm like, well, let me tell you, Marty, we did.
Marty's a big fan.
Mm-hmm.
We had a lot.
Oh, Lou from upstairs said he loved our show. Today.
Lou?
Uh-huh.
Old Lou?
He's like, I watch your show.
We need a very serious, severe spring training episode.
Oh, yeah.
This would be awesome. Never been to spring training.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
The takeoff. Definitely take off for that.
It's going to be awesome.
Can we get a grant for this show?
We might.
Get a Brew Crew
Need
review.
sponsors.
Electric cars so we can do road trips.
Hybrid.
Yeah.
I can't watch
Yep.
the news anymore. Can't handle it.
It's got to be a
Driving
Brew
me
Crew
nuts.
review van.
Mm-hmm.
We have a big vehicle.
You know what? The NFL today made me sick. It's not even, there aren't even plays anymore. There's just
No.
flags everywhere. It's stupid opening pregame bull. Jessica Simpson. What the is this?
I don't know. It drove me nuts today.
I get so irritated. I couldn't even handle it.
We turned it off at work, actually. We watched the Brewers.
Why do you build me up, buttercup baby, just to let me down and mess me around? And then worst of all, never thought, baby, when you say you will, but I love you still. I need you more than anyone, darling. You know that I have from the start. So build me up, buttercup, don't break my heart. I'll be over at 10, you told me time and again, but you're